This car in 1977 was built by Petty Enterprises. It was campaigned by Richard Petty from 77 till at the end of 1978. This car started life out as a body 1974 Charger, and then after 77 it was switched to a Dodge Magnum. At that time, all of the Dodge folks were complaining about the Dodge Magnum was so much bigger than the other race cars that they switched to other brands. This was at the end of 78, and then in 79 my dad, Buddy Arrington, bought this car as a Magnum, and we went to Daytona in February of 79 and had a very good run down there, and then took the car, this very same car with a Magnum body on it, in 79 and went to Talladega and had another good run. That was the only two places we used this particular car, in 79. And then in 1980, we used the car at speedways, Charlotte, Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega, MIS, Michigan, and a few other racetracks at that time. Then in the winter of 1980 and 81, this car was rebodied and re-wheelbased as a smaller car, and that started the new era of NASCAR with a 110-inch wheelbase. And then this car campaigned as a Chrysler Cordoba, and then was it was sold at the end of 1983 to a gentleman in Michigan, and he kept this car until we bought it back in 2015. And then we rebodied it back to this style body because that's what it was new in 1977. The other unique thing about this car, it was the only car that Petty Enterprises built with a solid frame chassis opposed to a unibody. This car is a 1981, 82, 83 Chrysler Imperial. At that time, the Imperial maintained its same body shape through those 3 years. It was built new as a Chrysler, a Dodge Murata, and then that car really didn't run too well, so we switched it to the Chrysler Imperial body, which brought it alive. And this car here is during 1982, 1983, it was a very, very good race car. It went to Daytona, opened up a lot of eyes. The problem at that time, Dodge as a manufacturer was not involved in NASCAR. And then the car stayed in the Talladega Museum from 1984 until we picked it up and brought it back to Martinsville in October of 2023.
What did you have to do to get it? Was that a hard?
We had to work with the state of Alabama because it was a state-owned museum. Worked with the state of Alabama for a couple of years, and then finally we made an agreement. We had to prepare a race car to carry down there and put in its place, and we did. And it was a Mark Martin car.
All right. Yeah. So are you proud to have these cars back home?
Absolutely. You know, this car here meant a lot. It had such good runs. You know, under the Petty camp somewhere, it was 77. It won a couple of races with the Pettys. We're not sure if it won a Daytona 500. We think it did, but back then they didn't keep good records of which car won what. Right. And then this car, because it was built here, you know, I was in my early 20s. It was, you know, we got blood stains on it, so it's very sentimental to myself, and like I said, it was probably our best race car period over the years. This engine here is a Dodge R6 engine, and it is actually legal for NASCAR today, but Dodge is not involved as a manufacturer.
Right.
This is just an engine that's in inventory for sale. It's a Ford engine, it's 427, and then this other engine here is a same R6 vintage, and it is two of the last Dodge NASCAR race engines of 2012.